After their surprising and disappointing loss to Arizona in Tucson over the weekend, the Ducks returned to practice on Monday here in the Mashofsky Center. The biggest question after practice to head coach Mark Helfrich: how did his team respond after that painful loss?
Really good day, really good response. We had great energy. We worked really hard. Now we need to couple that with better execution tomorrow, just tightening up the game plan portion of things. But special teams wise, great effort and execution, and so really happy with how the guys responded.
Mark, you mentioned yesterday about urgency and attitude. Did you see urgency today and better attitude?
Definitely. Our guys came out, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. We don't want to get good at this, but we want to practice every day like we lost the last game and against our own standard. And again, our guys came out with a bounce in their step, and that's what we want to do.
Is there a need to have that conversation with the guys after a loss like that? Is there a need to sit them down and say, that maybe our attitude isn't right, or I don't know, what was the message, I guess, then going in this morning? Yeah,
we talked about some of that stuff yesterday of you always want to know why things happen, whether they were good or not so good. Why did they occur? You can get lucky and score 50 points, and you can still get a lot better. By the same token, you can be really close and learn from all those things, and then you can not play a great game in any phase, and you need to know why. And so we talked about some of those things and moved on.
Mark, obviously you guys don't talk about injuries, but over the last couple of games, has Marcus Mariota been the same guy he was at the beginning of the season?
I would take Marcus Mariota any day, and what's the expression, twice on Sunday? I would do that.
How did he look today in practice?
Great. Awesome.
Practice fully?
He was awesome. He was awesome.
When you said you met with team leaders, was it yesterday that you did that?
Mm-hmm.
How big was that group, and who are
individually in terms of that of just grabbing a couple guys here and there, and again, our guys are disappointed, they're frustrated, but at the same time they've got the right mindset for bouncing back, and the guys that needed to do that today certainly showed up, and the guys followed, and then collectively we talked about that too.
What was your goal in meeting with them?
Practicing great today. Practicing great today, and learning from yesterday, both from kind of what our mindset was going into that game, and then more importantly what our mindset is moving forward, coming out of it. And like we said, you got to learn from the good and the bad.
So were you taking a temperature, or were you planting seeds?
Both. Definitely both. Yeah.
How hard was the 24 hours for you after that game, mentally?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're always doing a bunch of introspection anytime that kind of thing happens. And again, you can't sit around and pout about it. You need to get into. It's very easy to blame. It's very easy to point fingers. It's hard to look at yourself, and it's hard to fix. And that's what we need to be in. We need to be in the fixing business. We don't need to be in the blame business, because that doesn't help you have a good day today.
Did you have any conversations with anybody that sort of help put things in perspective for you?
I think everything helps. Some of it I think is just very, very easily explained. Some of it is not so easily explained, and those are the things that make this a great job. Sometimes very, very, very frustrating, and sometimes very rewarding, and those things come in weird places sometimes. But I think collectively, again, our guys took a step forward today, and that's the most important outcome.
Will you change your demeanor at all as far as how you approach as a team, as a coach?
Change my demeanor?
Yeah, you know how you are, how you deal with them.
No, I don't think you can change your demeanor. You can't. No, I mean, you can change how you deal with individuals. I think and how you find out just again, like we talked about the other day, how guys respond to adversity, how guys respond to success is different, and we have a very high standard around here, and some of our younger guys, I think they were just waiting for somebody else to make a play. It's just going to happen. I just have to stand here and wait for it to happen, and that's not how it works. And,
Mark, excuse me.
Your question's more important.
No, I just was going to ask, is the Oregon State game any more meaningful than any of the other games too?
It's the next one, so it's very meaningful. And I certainly understand the makeup of that, growing up in the state, and And I grew up in a community that was very divided in allegiance, and I know what that means. There's no question about that. I think even it's more important this week for us to play better, for us to execute, to compete, to just play our way.
Is it difficult at all to motivate the guys again coming back from a loss like that?
I don't know. I mean, it's there's sometimes it's the hardest when you've had great success. To get guys to realize that you need to have that sense of urgency every single day, because like I said after the game, we're a program that if you get beat, they rush the field, and we're going to get that shot every single game. And just because there's an O on our helmet doesn't mean they give you 60 points on the scoreboard. You have to show up and grind that out every single practice, every single meeting, every single day.
Mark, when you were younger, did you think about playing here? Did you used to dream about maybe being a player here?
Sure. Yeah. And like I said before, they were smart in not picking me. That was always was a dream line to play here, but that didn't work out from that angle. But it's great to be in the current angle.
Were you going to walk on at any point? Did that come up? Or?
Yeah, that was one of my plans there for a while. Kind of came down to thinking where I would be able to play sooner, or who knows what my solid 18-year-old logic was at that point. Had an opportunity to walk on at Oregon State also as a free safety, and so yeah.
And were you like a lot of fans in the state when this game came around? Was it like, did you circle that for the whole year? You had to see it. You wanted to listen to it.
Well, I was an Oregon fan, and certainly that growing up there was that back and forth amongst the community that will happen after this game, and you wanted to be on the right side of that for sure. Yeah.
Did you watch the 0-0 tie game?
I did not. No. I want to say I can't remember why we didn't go to that game, but I remember something came up. Yeah. What year was that? 30 years ago. 83?
Yeah, last time. College football history.
What would an Alamo Bowl or Holiday Bowl mean to the program?
I don't know. We need to have a great Wednesday practice. That's what we need to do tomorrow, and that's our sole focus.
Is that sort of the learning? The Rose Bowl comments, is it looking ahead that far? Is that the learning? What they should learn from that is to say it should be just Wednesday. Absolutely.
And that again, people want to act like that just was, infectious through our program. Those guys spoke out of turn, and that's they learned from that, and that in no way are those guys spokesmen for our team. Unfortunately, got obviously a ton of press, but I think that kind of devalues Arizona's effort, and it just takes the focus away of what it needs to be, and that's preparing every day, winning that day.
When you talk to them, did they realize that afterwards, or were they regretful?
Sure. I mean, part of that was again, like I've said a couple times, part of it was ignorance, part of it was competitiveness, part of it was outside expectations, getting into it's unfortunately that's Twitter is on the World Wide Web, and that's global.